Hi, it's John again with another review of a Bolo Yeung film again. This one being Big Boss 2. There you go. Bit of a... I'll just read the back of the box, well, some of the back of the box. When Bruce Lee died in 1973, Hong Kong film moguls were desperate for someone or something to fill the massive martial arts movie gap, which Westerners were demanding. The solution was to use Bruce Lee lookalikes and have the same titles that had been box office smash hits for Bruce Lee. This movie is a perfect example, using Dragon Lee, who was more of a lookalike for Jason Scott Lee from Dragon the Bruce Lee story than Bruce Lee, and the title Big Boss 2, but has nothing in common with the original Big Boss. There you go. This film, otherwise known as Ji Quan Da Dong Kao, directed by Lu Po Tu. Tagline: Masters in the Art of Sudden Death. There's Bolo Yeung and Dragon Lee. Big Boss 2. Firstly, a little history lesson. Despite the title, Big Boss 2 is actually completely unconnected to the legendary Bruce Lee film The Big Boss. That honour goes to another film entitled, yes you guessed it, Big Boss 2. So there are actually two films with the title Big Boss 2. One an actual sequel, and the other a completely unrelated film starring a Bruce Lee lookalike and renamed by shrewd American distributors to cash in on the Bruce Lee craze which was sweeping the US. That film, this film, original title was Dragon Lee Fights Again. Anyway, the storyline is really nothing to write home about, but in a nutshell it concerns a young member of the Chinese resistance, played with his usual level of face-cramping intensity by Dragon Lee, and his fight against the brutal Japanese, led by the great Bolo Yeung. There you go. I really didn't like this film. I know I said I'm a Bolo Yeung fan and I seem to dislike all of his films, but I actually like a lot of his films a lot. I'm just happen to be going through the really bad ones at the moment. Anyway, I didn't really like this film, so to describe its plot in any more detail is not really something I'd like to do. Suffice to say, it's the usual Chinese are great, Japanese are evil type thing that was churned out in its hundreds during the 1970s. There isn't really much to recommend this film. Besides the dreary storyline, the camera work is an absolute joke. That may seem harsh, but it kind of gets frustrating when you're watching a film and virtually every single frame is off centre. All you can see of the person talking is his left ear. The dramatic fight scenes are totally ruined by the fact that the only thing you can actually see on the screen, besides a flurry of martial arts activity slightly off screen, is like a bush or a nice bit of sky or a decorative urn. For a film that relies so heavily on its action, the terrible direction was the real killer for me. However, the film's not without hope, and that hope comes in the rippling forms of Dragon Lee and Bolo Yeung. Dragon Lee is a handsome, highly skilled, charismatic martial artist, and for my money he was the best of the Bruce Lee clones that appeared in the 1970s, both in his looks and mannerisms as well as his skill. Dragon Lee for me is the closest thing we ever got to having Bruce Lee reborn. Although his fight scenes are relatively few, they're the best thing about the film. His dragon's speed, his flexibility and his agility make him a formidable screen fighter. And then there's Bolo Yeung. Well, what can you say about Bolo Yeung? The guy is just a legend, isn't he? Despite sporting a silly little Hitler moustache, as you can see there, he's just as brutal, massive and downright evil as ever. Dragon Lee and Bolo Yeung really are the only two reasons to watch this film. It's a real shame their climactic battle wasn't better, as seeing these two Hong Kong legends battle it out almost made me feel justified in the 80 minutes of my life I just wasted. But yeah, that's Big Boss 2, aka Dragon Lee Fights Again. I would give this one 3 out of 10. Special features, casting credits, Dragon Lee profile and filmography, Bolo Yeung profile and filmography, and there's a little thing about unraveling the confusion of the two different Big Boss 2 films. It's just a screen of writing, really. Anyway, that is Big Boss 2, and next time we'll be looking at another Bolo Yeung film from 1978, which is Enter the Game of Death. Oh, by the way, this film's from 1978. So yeah, that's Big Boss 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.